name's Leland Melvin, former astronaut, now working to help inspire the next generation of explorers. My parents exposed me to so many things as a child, from sports to creating Lego blocks to building campers to music. I give most of my props to my dad. He was my mentor, he was my hero, and just really helped a lot. Sports was a really big part of my life. So this is a picture of me catching or dropping a touchdown pass in the end zone at my homecoming game when there was a scout from the University of Richmond looking at me drop this pass and started walking out of the stadium, but he heard the crowd screaming the second time. My coach believed in me, gave me another chance to catch the winning touchdown pass, and that one pass resulted in a full scholarship to the University of Richmond. I was finishing my master's degree at the University of Virginia, and I went to a career fair, and a woman at the NASA booth said, "Hey, you need to come work for NASA." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna work for NASA." And she just convinced me that I need to come down and check it out. So I went down and looked at it and said, "This is pretty cool." I worked at NASA for about 7 or 8 years, and a friend of mine who wanted to be an astronaut said, "Leland, you'd be a great astronaut." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I mean, me, astronaut? And that same year, my boy Charlie Camarda, he got in. Then I saw what he was doing. He was flying jets, he was inspiring kids, he was gonna be flying in space one day. And I said, wow, that's the ultimate gig. And so I applied the next year and I got in, and it was just incredible. To train on the ground, you go down into a pool that's about 30 feet deep. Well, they started letting me down. I realized that this little styrofoam pad was not in my helmet. They forgot to put mine in. So I asked the test director to turn the volume up in the headset. And from that point on, I heard nothing but static. I went deaf. The doctors from around the world, no one knew what happened to me. Slowly started getting better. Hearing came back, still hearing impaired. And this year, I went to Washington to work in education. And that's when we launched Space Shuttle Columbia. 7 of my friends were on Space Shuttle Columbia that broke up coming over the Texas sky. One of the mission specialists was David Brown, but I went to his parents' home the night of the accident to console them. His father said to me with tears in his eyes, he said, "Leland, the biggest tragedy would be if we don't continue to fly in space to carry on their legacy." Now at this point, I'm not flying because they've told me I'm medically disqualified. But as we fly around the country to go to the different memorial services, the chief flight surgeon, Rich Williams, he says, "I'm gonna sign you a waiver to fly. This will be a testimony to the world."
NTD, with that, you are cleared to launch Atlantis. Copy, clear to launch.
It's 17,500 miles per hour, going around the planet every 90 minutes. Nothing can prepare you for the views that you'll see from the space station. I mean, the colors are just so vibrant. Just looking down at the planet and then looking deep into the heavens. And the stars and the planets, it's just so stunning. Connecting the dots with building, creating, doing the robotics, doing the space. I never really synthesized all those activities to a final job or final goal. Sometimes when you don't believe in yourself, other people do, and they give you a second chance. And I think that's been a theme through my life, being given a second chance. And now I'm helping inspire the next generation of explorers. My name is Leland Melvin, and this is my story.
When you see the world going around it every 90 minutes at 17,500 miles per hour, it fundamentally changes you. It shows that we're all connected in some way. And it's an incredible experience. And so on my first flight, we launched off to space. People asked me, "How did you feel before you launched to space?" I wasn't afraid. I sat there. I did my tasks. We did our jobs. We were high-fiving. We were chest bumping when we got to space. And then when you chest bump in space, you float back pretty hard. So you got to be careful, a gentle chest bump. The night before the launch, my job on this first mission was to install the European Space Agency's Columbus laboratory. And before I flew in space, I had talked to a lot of the German flight controllers who will be in mission control monitoring the systems on Columbus. And I remember as I walked out of this meeting, one flight controller from Germany looked at me and he said, "Mr. Melvin, we've been waiting 10 years. Don't screw it up." So as I'm using this robotic arm to install this laboratory, it's moving slowly, getting closer to the space station. And then at one moment, it stalls out. The motion stalls out. In the back of my mind, okay, don't screw it up. but there were these ready-to-latch indicators that were spring-loaded, and just that little bit of spring force was enough to stop the motion. I pulled on the hand controller just a little bit more. It docked successfully. Everyone in Germany and Eastern were celebrating. And then we had a space smorgasbord where Peggy Whitson, who's the first female commander down in the green shirt, first female commander of the International Space Station, she invited us over to dinner. So she said, you guys bring the rehydrated vegetables, we'll have the meat. So if you look there, you see hot sauce to the left, you see cans of beef and barley, you see remnants of crackers and cheese. And we're having this meal with people we used to fight against, Russia and Germany. So there's African American, Asian American, French, German, Russian, the first female commander of the International Space Station, going around the planet every 90 minutes, floating food to each other's mouths. We're listening to Sade singing Smooth Operator on the iPad as we're having this meal. And when I think about this moment, this could be anyone's home with the smell of food and warmth and friends coming over to have a meal. But we're doing this off planet. We're doing this with people we used to fight against. And I think if everyone would have that opportunity to experience this, there would be no more wars. We can send politicians, we can send people that are fighting for causes that are just unbelievable. And I think once you can bring people together off planet, there is no reason why we can't bring people together on planet.